Hello, Aurélie.
Hello.
Hello. Oh no, your voice is great. Because we were,
Can you hear me well?
yeah, I can hear you well. Can everybody out hear Aurélie well and myself too? Just let us know if you can't. Welcome, Aurélie Guillaume, Mademoiselle Aurélie Guillaume. I'm so excited you're here. You're actually my ninth interviewee because I didn't know. I thought it was the sixth session, and then I just looked and you're the ninth person.
All right.
Yes. Welcome. Welcome to the show. I also damaged my other earphones, so I have to wear these today so I look like an official radio man.
It's like I told you.
Are you at the studio?
Yes, I am.
Okay, perfect. So everybody, this is Aurélie Guillaume, one of my really good friends. I have had the honors of meeting Aurélie. The first time I met her was at the finalist student exhibition at LA Pie Gallery in Ottawa. We were both finalists. Aurélie obviously won because she deserves to win. That's the first time I met Aurélie, and then I've seen her numerous times. She's my US traveling buddy. We've been to New Orleans together. We've been to Chicago snack together. My phone, I'm using this new thing that keeps going down, so I just have to adjust it. And then Aurélie used to live in the States for a long time, but now she's in Canada, so I see her more. I usually go to Montreal. I have two very, very good friends there, Aurélie and Marie-Ève, so I try to visit them often. She's amazing. I'm not going to spoil it all. I'm just going to let her give you a little bit of a background. You're blushing? Don't blush. No need to blush. I'm going to let you do a little bit of an introduction about yourself, your experiences, your background, whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah.
And then we'll just continue with the conversation.
All right. Well, there's a lot had happened. I mean, I didn't start with jewelry at all. So it's been a long journey to become a jeweler. Some fine arts before and graphic design.
Oh, okay.
That was not a really good experience to work on so many computers.
Yes. Okay.
Having to draw and do something on the computer when you're used to your
Working
hand,
with, yes.
and feeling the paper and the materials you're working with. So after that experience in graphic design, I decided to just leave everything behind and to try jewelry. I mean, why not? I saw
Why
documentaries
not?
about it and it seemed like a really wonderful world. And from the first time I was in the studio, I knew that this is what I wanted to do. So then I studied at the Jewelry School of Montreal. And actually the studio that I have right now, I share it with my first jewelry teacher.
Oh,
So,
isn't that great?
yeah, Monique Giroux, I keep on
Oh,
learning
I love Monique. Monique is
Yeah.
amazing. I didn't know she was your teacher. That's amazing.
And then I went to NASCAD where I got my BFA. And then for the past 5 years, I've been doing residencies and working in my studio, doing all sorts of things, really traveling a lot.
Yes. Yeah, you do travel a lot.
Jewelry, so this has been really amazing. There's so many things to say. It's been a great journey.
Yeah, you have had a good journey. You've had a good journey, and you're quite experienced. You're a superstar. You've been to places. You've been to different residencies. You just did one residency that we'll get back to when you went to China. I really want to talk about that because I know that we haven't really, me and you also haven't really discussed it. So I would love to hear a little bit more about that. But after school, what did you do with the? So you learned your enameling techniques in school, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, the first time I did enamel was a gift. My mom offered me a class, enameling class, because I thought it was so fun to work with color. And I fell in love the first day. And then that's why I went to NASCAD. It's because I knew they had, they offered classes where you could learn how to enamel, and I really wanted to dive deep inside of that. So I had the opportunity of really exploring enamel in a really extensive way. So yeah, Sorry, I kind of forgot the question.
No, it's okay. I didn't ask anything. I was just waiting for you to finish, and then I was going to ask my question. So obviously your background in graphic design had a huge effect in your work. Would it be
Yeah.
correct to say that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been drawing my whole life. This is like one of my first experiences with art, I could say, is pen and paper and just staying in my corner and drawing whatever would come to my mind or what I would see.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I'm really thankful that I can join both practices, you know, being able to draw and use all that color and use jewelry techniques with that. It's everything's
Absolutely. So, because the reason why I'm asking is that because I don't have a ton of experience in enameling. As you know, I started enameling because I loved your work, and I was like, I've never experienced with this. So I did take some classes, but what I noticed is that what a lot of enamelists come from a fine arts background. It's a really good transition for people who do fine arts that want to come into jewelry. Not all the time, obviously. There's a lot of other people too that end up in other fields. Sorry, not other people. But for you, the one thing that I was wondering, because when I started doing enameling, is when I realized how much work goes into each piece that you made.
yeah.
So I just want to talk a little bit about that. So first question is, was your work always this intricate? Like, was it always this detailed, or did you started getting more comfortable with it and added? Because your work has a ton of information in it, and now that I know how enameling is, I don't even know. These questions are going to pop up later on, but like for example, like this piece that you made for me that I forgot to announce to people. Oh, really made this? Yes, we did a little trade. Obviously, this is worth a lot more. But like, for example, how many firings would something like this take?
There's about 10 to 15. It
Okay.
depends.
Okay.
But so I would say that even before starting jewelry, I loved drawing and all that, but it's, you know, it was something that I did for myself, you know,
Yeah.
it's something I do for my own pleasure. And I find that finding such an exciting technique, such as enamel, really pushed me to really explore all these characters and all this world that I'm creating. You know, it's I feel they go hand in hand. You know, I don't think I would develop my illustrative style in this way if I didn't work with enamel. You know,
Right.
when I create a piece, I don't necessarily I can't stop but think about how can I make this an enamel piece. So of course it
Okay.
impacts the way I will draw certain things, or sometimes I will draw something and think, how can I turn this into enamel with the things that I know, because I know some techniques, but there's so much more to learn. And every day I come in the studio, I'm like, I feel like I don't know anything about it. There's so many things that, you know, just last week I melted some stuff. I don't know what I did, and
King of melting here, so don't even worry about that.
I mean
Yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
I explore every day. Even now, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to do this thing today, and I'm trying to teach myself new techniques every day. It's not always easy.
I know it's never easy, but it's good to hear. Oftentimes when you just think, like, for example, you in my eyes are like the enamel god. And I'm
No,
like, yeah, you are. Even Guyane, Guyane, Faith, that I know in the jewelry scene here, the enamelists, you guys are all pretty much gods. And I think that you know everything, but then I talk to you and you're like, oh, I feel like I don't know anything. So it's good for me to hear this because I often battle with that every day. I'm like, oh my God, do I know? Am I good? Is this happening? Like, do I do the right thing? Is there more to learn? But in our field, I guess there's always so much to learn.
yeah, but the thing too is with enamel, I find by when I meet enamel artists is that there's one way of, doing things. Of course, there's like the very technical aspects of enamel, but sometimes there are things that you develop. It's like it's like a sense that you develop with the material, you know. And sometimes I will teach something that I know works for me, and some other enamelists will be like, "What are you doing?" You
Okay.
know, it's
Okay.
just you find your own ways of getting to, you know,
So
the
it's the
result.
same thing in your field as I mean all of our fields are the same, but even, when you're learning the basics of jewelry, there's so many ways. I remember our teachers always used to say that if we're teaching you something but you know it from a different way, there's no right or wrong. Like
Yeah,
whatever style, I mean sometimes there is a right or wrong, like with settings, you can't really, yeah, right? Like
yeah,
certain things, but certain techniques that you develop, especially with you guys, it's such a experimental field in my opinion
yeah.
that
You always have to try. You know, every time I make a piece, I always make samples for it before, just to make sure that I got
okay.
my down and this is how I'm going to make it. Because, I mean, my work is not organic at all, so I need to know
Okay.
where it's
Okay.
going.
Yeah.
In that part, I really need to make sure that everything's gonna work well because I spend so much time on the pieces, and I
And
mean,
even then, I'm imagining that even then, when you have a full plan and stuff, sometimes things just don't work out, I guess.
sometimes you have to. And you know what? I find that when things don't work, this is when I really have to make my brain work a lot to be like, okay, how can I work with this? Because I don't want to have to go back 10 steps. First, I can't. Once you put enamel on metal, it's there to stay. So it's either you start again or you keep going, and then you try to find new ways of maybe hiding something or like correcting something. And by doing this, I actually discovered a lot of things. And this, you know, there's one piece I think in particular. It's a croque-luciole. It's a big yellow guy. And
Okay.
when I approached this piece, I wanted the whole thing to be just flat yellow.
Okay.
But there were some blemishes in the piece, and it was really not perfect. And I was really disappointed with the look of the enamel.
Okay.
So I thought, well, I'm just going to cover it up by drawing so many things on it that we won't see the blemishes.
Okay.
And this is actually how I came to really embrace working with this black line and adding detail in this way on top of the enamel.
Okay.
So you might discover things.
Discover things. That's why I always say goldsmiths and jewelers are usually the best problem solvers, because you run into a problem and then you can't just let the piece go. You have to fix the problem. Covering it, fixing it, whatever it is. Sometimes you just got to come up with a solution and go for it. So it's the same thing with you guys. Okay, okay, that's good to know. I want to go back a little bit because you mentioned that you find along the way that you still need to learn, you still need to develop your skills. Would it be safe to say, is that why you applied for the residency in China? That I also am going to let you talk about it a little bit.
Actually, the residency in China, it's like it fell from the sky. You know?
Okay, okay,
One day, I got this message on my Instagram DMs, and it's Dan Danzing. He's like,
yes,
your work. I'm in Toronto. Can I come visit you in Montreal? I have something to talk to you about. And she came
wow,
to Montreal, and she's like, do you want to come to China? Do you want to learn? Do you want to see how we make cloisonné over there? And I was like, no.
yes, absolutely.
It was even now I'm thinking about it and I still have
Good
goosebumps.
goosebumps, yes.
Really, you know, I was very lucky for that one, and I'm forever thankful for Dan to give me this opportunity because it was amazing.
That's amazing. I mean, yes, you're lucky, but also obviously you have something so good that people notice your work and they see you and you put yourself out there. You're very hardworking. You have pieces everywhere. I've seen your pieces pretty much every city that I've gone. In most galleries that I've gone to, I've seen your pieces. So yes, you're lucky because Dan's also an amazing person to cross paths with, but also I think that you deserved it. It's not that
Thank
you were just lucky.
you.
No, you did. Don't blush. Don't blush. I'm your fan. Don't worry. I'm
I'm, I,
not.
I know it's good, but sometimes I'm like, what?
See, you're so popular. We have so many people joining in. Hi, everybody that are just joining in our conversation. And hi, Nora. That's
I
the
know.
third of the Musketeers team, by the way.
Yeah.
Our lovely friend Nora in Chicago. Um, so yeah, and that's so when you went to China, I wasn't, and that's the thing I was saying. We haven't really covered China and talked about it a lot, but I could just see via your feed and your post that you're having such a good time, and it showed that the people there were so welcoming and lovely, and that whole workshop just looked like a wonderland.
Oh my God, it's not just a workshop, Pasha. It was an entire factory.
Factory, sorry,
I got
sorry. Excuse my ESLness.
no.
Factory, that's
I mean,
I'm
I've
kidding.
never seen such. I mean, I have not seen so many enamel studios, and I think I still have a lot to learn and to travel to. But oh my God, it was the first time we went to the. I mean, I just don't even know where to start because the first day we went to the factory, there was so much traffic. It took us 3 hours to drive there.
Oh
And
wow, okay.
where is she taking me?
What did I get myself into?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I was by myself in Beijing, and that was quite an experience by itself. But the when we drove in the parking lot, I couldn't see anything, and then there was this little door by the side there, and the manager there welcomed us, and we got into this showroom, and I think my heart skipped a beat. There was so many big vessels. Even just in the parking lot, there was those giant vessels that were as tall as I am, and they were huge. And then all these beautiful pieces. They had pieces that were made like hundreds of years ago, and very. I mean, I would say new pieces. Vases that they're actually producing right now, and the amount of detail and the colors and the size, and I was squealing the entire time. I
Well,
was
yeah, of course.
going through all those displays, and I was like, oh my God, this is so good. And I couldn't. It was just stronger than myself. It was just like nonstop squealing, and I felt really stupid.
But no, you shouldn't feel stupid at all. Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
yeah. But I mean, it was just too exciting. I don't. I mean, I get excited by things, but I mean, my heart was racing. And so that was just a display room. And I was, can we go see the factory? Can we go see the workers? And so.
Uh-oh. Did we lose already? Oh, you're back.
Oh,
We
back
lost you
on.
for a
Yeah.
second. Yes, you're
Okay.
back
I
on.
tried to fix it. Okay.
Good.
So yeah, we got into the factory, and it's divided by every step of making. So the first room we got in was, I call it the wire room.
Okay.
So it's basically just tables, and there was about 15 women that were sitting there and working on pieces that were really big and bending wire. So all the tasks are divided. So there's that room where they're bending wire. And then there's another room. This is where I lost my shit.
You lost it?
It's like the color room, and this is where they apply the color. And it's tables that are filled with bowls of enamel powder, and you can't see the tables. And there
Oh
are
my God.
like a broomstick that are attached to the table, and the vessels are placed on them.
Uh-huh.
So you can turn the vessel around and actually apply the color. And also, one thing is, like, all the tools that they have to work with enamel are so different from the ones I had.
Okay.
And then after the color room, they brought me to the kiln room. And I think the entire time I was just buzzed from excitement.
This is like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory,
Exactly.
but Aurélie in the Enameling Factory. You should write
Yeah.
a book about that.
That's exactly right. And then the kiln room is a giant room, and the kilns are actually in the ground. So
Oh,
I have a kiln and I open the door and it's a front
okay.
kiln, but they have, top loading. And yeah, that was really amazing. There's one guy at the factory that fires every day for
Okay.
3 to 4 hours a day. And then there's a polishing room, and then there's 4 guys as well. They're there and they're just polishing. And the vessels are put on lathe, and they have towels that are filled with polishing compound, and they're going back and forth over the vessel as it's turning.
Spinning, okay.
Yeah, as it's spinning. Yeah. Yeah, and that was it. But it's just a small team, and they're making so many.
Oh my, I have so many questions right now.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go.
So first one, these are big vessels that you're talking about.
Yes.
So how do they transport it without the powder like getting all over the place and then putting it? Because the kilns was my biggest question for you. That how big are these kilns and where are they? And now you're saying they're in the ground.
Yes.
So are they natural kilns or are they like?
They're electric kilns.
Okay.
So they're in the showroom. They showed me a vessel that was made maybe 100 years ago, and back then it was wood fire, and you can see like all pits and bubbles, and this is how you can see that these were made back in the days. But now they have electric furnaces that are in the ground because it's just so much easier to lift it and put it.
That's what I was, okay.
And so in this way, they have heating elements all around the piece. When you have a front-loading kiln, some kilns have it, but usually they don't have heating elements on the door, which is side that's not heating.
So this is all, okay. Oh, wow.
I mean, they just use their hands, and it's so there's also I have a
oh yeah, please, demonstration time, everybody.
Very tiny, but there's always a rim here that's not enameled, so they kind of put the pieces from the inside and using the rims to transport them. And they apply the enamel. They use dropper. So they suck in all the powder and the water, and they kind of drop, color in the small cells. But it's so wet that it's kind of holding together. I mean, when I had the same question. I was like, how is the enamel holding on one side and not falling? Yeah. But it's a matter of, they have rags as well. So you fill in one side, and you, so it's on a mandrel like this, and then you spin it. And then you make sure that you wick the water away with a rag. So you're working, you're kind of, turning the piece around. And when you're adding so much enamel with so much water on top, with the capillarity, the water, is still distributed everywhere. So it kind of stays moist. Humid.
Moist, okay, yeah.
So it happens sometimes that there are some drops of enamel, but usually with you pat the piece around with a rag, and that's
that would just hold it in there. It's so fascinating because also one of the things, and please correct me if I'm wrong because you have a lot more knowledge with me, but enameling is usually done on very slightly domed surfaces, so you can't really do a lot of.
I mean, it's possible. Enamel, you can do it on any. Your bathtubs are enameled, and like so many objects are enameled, and it's a matter of really controlling the application of the enamel and the moisture. But enamel can be done on any surface, so it really depends. I mean, of course, it's way easier when it's slightly domed or surface.
So that's because I was always wondering how did they do the vessels, because the classes that I took was mostly on very slightly domed. And they said it has to be domed for it to kind of like, I guess, run or whatnot. But the very exaggerated curves that you guys work with in the workshop in China, was very, very interesting to me. We have a few questions, if you don't mind, because then I will forget. Do you now use those tools and techniques in your everyday practice?
So I'm currently working on a new body of work.
Okay.
And I have used those techniques. Actually, a lot of the things I've learned over there, I'm actually applying in my work now. I used to use a small spoon to pack in all the cells.
Yes.
Now I find that it's much easier with a dropper, especially when you have when there are small areas, there's so much water that's deposited with the enamel that it actually helps it flow.
Okay.
I use both now. One thing that I discovered that is really amazing, and I have not used yet in my work, is this thing.
Okay, I'm just going to turn off the comments again, guys, so you can see Aurélie better, but if anybody has any questions, there's a question sign there.
So that is cloisonné wire. It's copper. So they
Okay.
But what is really amazing here is that you have about, this is about 6 to 7 strips of copper
okay.
stuck together.
Oh.
You could bend one shape and then heat it up just a little bit so the glue burns off, and then you end up having...
Oh, having the same shape.
So that's why there's so much on the Chinese vessels.
Yes.
Because they have this, but also because having so many cells also helps the enamel stay in place. It's like sticking to the wall. So I still have to put my hands on more of that in, communicating with my friend in China. But
you can't find that here.
No. I've tried to, it's like a candy strip.
Okay, yeah, it kind of looks like a candy strip where you were showing it.
Yeah, because of the situation right now, the COVID, it's really difficult to ship things back and forth, and it takes more time, and things are more difficult.
So talking about COVID, there's also another question, but we're getting there, so I'm going to bring that question up later. Speaking of COVID, how was it? How is it going? What happened? Tell us a little bit.
I mean, at first, I think just for most people, it was. I mean, I'm gonna say it was a shock, but I mean, we saw it coming, and we saw it coming. So it was. At first, I was really happy to stay home.
Yes, I think a lot of us were.
One of the things that I've been wishing for a long time is for things to slow down and to have time to focus and to rest and to really take the time to do everything, and to enjoy it and not stressed out by having to go to work, having to go get this here, having to give this project. So at first I have to say I was happy that the world slowed down. Despite the virus being what it is, and so much pain to a lot of people, and then after a couple weeks, you're starting to think about all that, and it's starting to play with your brain, and staying in at home, and not being able to go out, and not being able to think about the future. You don't know what's going to happen, and even today, with the restriction being lifted off, it's still really uncertain. Yeah, so it is. A lot of questions went through my mind. It's like, what is it worth making jewelry? What is what I'm making worth making? Is it, who is it? For who is it? It is, and I don't know. For a little while, it got me really down because, you think about, people that are working really hard to make sure to, I think about nurses and doctors and the people that are still working, and so and we're here and we're like, what to do with all that? And so.
I'm saying this because you're also my friend, but even if I wasn't your friend, I would still tell you this. And I think a lot of people here would also probably agree with me that you make a lot more than jewelry pieces. You make really, really fun and amazing art pieces that, for me, just to give you an example, this sits by my bed. This is on my right by my lap. This makes me happy. So it's a great piece of jewelry, and I love it, and I wear it when I can. But you have to also know that during these times, and this is what I've heard from other people, so don't think I'm being cocky, but art is absolutely necessary
Oh, I know.
for
Yeah.
people to look up to be motivated, to be inspired, and then it's up to us to be motivated and inspired.
I know.
Not
Yeah.
that I'm comparing myself to you at all, but I understand why so many people get frustrated because the motivation is not there. I've had this conversation that I'm having with you with so many people that are like, why are you making jewelry? Is it essential? It's not, do people want to spend money on it? But what I think you have as a difference is that you also can apply your art in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like your sketchbooks. I've said this so many times to you. Your sketchbooks are a world of wonders. You can just, I'm sure that you could just start selling your sketchbooks, and people, I myself will buy a lot of them with all the money that I have.
I thought of selling pages because at some point I
You should. Honestly, I've been telling you this for how long already. You should definitely do that because you've created a world. You've created a world of pretty much Alice in Wonderland. Like, you have created characters. Every piece of your work that I look at, there's such an interesting story to it. I don't know what the real story is, but it leaves my imagination to create so many things.
Yeah, but like for me, that's really something that I did during the first couple weeks and the first months of staying at home. It's like, well, I'm not going to the studio, so I'm gonna draw. But even then, sometimes I felt really sad or really anxious, and even sometimes I'm staring at my sketchbook and I can't bring myself to draw anything,
Yeah.
And what I found was really exciting and giving a lot of hope is that, many artists were kind of giving challenges like, okay, today we'll draw this and today we'll draw that. And I followed some of these challenges because first, I think it's important to get out of your comfort zone. Like, I don't know how to draw cars. I don't know how to draw so many things. And I was like, hey, let's try to draw these. How to.
Yeah. Oh, we lost your voice. Okay, you're back. You're back. You're back. No, we're good now. We also had another question that might be related to what you're just saying. Gwen Rosso is asking how to learn enamel in a self-taught way. What digital resources do you recommend?
Digital resources?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
very tricky question.
It's a tricky question. Well, actually, recently I saw. I mean, you can always, go online and search, and there's a lot of people that are like showing how they make enamel. Something I've been wanting to actually try out. Mary Lee Ray is a really amazing enamelist from.
Oh yes.
And she works with opalescence, and she has been advertising classes online that she's teaching. I think Barbara Miner as well was giving some workshops. There are some the enamel. I think. Oh,
it's okay. It's all adults here.
Okay. But there is what's her name? There's a I forget her name. There's a woman who gives a lot of classes. It's not Anne Havel, however, she gives classes sometimes. I mean, there's a lot of enamelists in the U.S. If you check out their Facebook page,
yeah, okay.
Sometimes they will offer classes. Anne Dinan, she gives a lot of.
Anne Dinan, there you go. Gayan is here. Gayan saved the day. And somebody's asking if we could write down the names, please. We could definitely do that if you could already. If not, just so everybody knows, all of these are being saved on our Instagram, and then later on are moved to YouTube. And in the YouTube section, there's a detailed description of what we talked about. I will get those names from Aurélie and also put it in the comments in YouTube so you can all go and get it.
Yeah.
My other question for you that was also another person was asking, let's actually ask their question so it's even better. They are asking if, where is it? How did the experience impact your own work right now? Which was also related to my next questions. Because I was going to ask if you had any exhibitions that got canceled during COVID.
Yeah, so actually I was supposed to present work at Montreal-based Gallery
Yes.
in June.
Yes.
And that did not happen.
Okay.
For obvious
For
reasons.
obvious reasons.
But you know, at the moment I'm working on that exhibition. It's been reported. No, not reported. Moved.
Moved. Yes.
It's been moved to September 4th.
Okay. September 4th.
And so the body of work I'm creating right now is actually very much related to what we are going through at the moment.
Okay.
So I'm not making pieces with like, you know, spikes and like a virus on it or anything.
No. Please
It's
don't.
much more reflection about, you know, our relationships to our friends, to our family, and to our home, and how I'm trying to translate that into objects and jewelry. So
Amazing.
I don't want to say much more because I'm
No, I don't want you to spoil anything. I was just I just wanted to hint on the fact that you're having an exhibition and it's very much, I guess, touched or influenced by your experiences in China.
Yeah.
So for those of you that are interested, the exhibition would be on September 4th at Montreal Gallery in Montreal, and I'm sure there will be a lot of images and stuff up. I will be personally going to the show. I'm planning on it. I told you I'm coming because I can't miss this. And you also I'm going to do a zigzag with you right now. You also had a show that I had the opportunity to catch in Montreal with the 3 pieces. I always forget the name of the show and I'm so sorry. I should have remembered this.
Les amoureux.
Oh, yes. Okay, because you also told me the English name and they're different. That's why
I was trying to find something that would echo the French title, so I called it the Love Struck Souls because
yes, Love Struck Souls.
Very much about love. There was 3 illustrations as well with this, so
yes.
It was a pretty small solo show, but a lot of emotion went into it.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's because the 3 pieces were so powerful for me. And I visited Aurélie before the show and we had a little talk about the pieces together, but then the outcome of the pieces were mind-blowing. And Sarah Rachel Brown is saying that I'm lucky that I can get to come to your show. Sarah, you should just move to Canada and then stay here and then we'll go to Montreal.
Jewelers.
What did you say?
That's open borders for jewelers.
Yes, it's open borders for jewelers. One of us will marry you, no problem. Like, it's very simple.
I'm already taken for like
I'm taken too, but I'm sure that we could resolve it. It's okay. It's a friend. Come on.
It's Nora.
Oh, right. You're Nora. You're doing... Oh, I also promised Nora. It's okay. We have enough room. There's enough of us here in the jewelry scene that we can cover that. And then is that exhibition that we were just talking about, is that going to go somewhere else or no?
Actually, I was very lucky. All the pieces, including illustrations, were sold.
Oh.
So.
Wow. I didn't know this.
Many pieces, but there was a really good response to that show. It's the first time too that I exhibited illustrations that were framed. And I've had requests for more. So, but the thing is with the show I'm having soon, I'm going to keep on working on that as well. It's ongoing.
It's an ongoing. Amazing. And one thing I also forgot to mention, and my brain might be also malfunctioning right now, but you had that show because you won an award.
Yes. So every year, the city of Montreal organizes the François Audet Award.
Right.
Which is an award that is given to emerging craft artists in Montreal. So it's all disciplines, you know, it's woodworking, leather work, you know, ceramics, glass, jewelry. Yeah, and I won in 2018. And so when you are given this award, they offer you a grant as well, and then a solo show for the next year. So you
Okay.
create your work alongside the new finalists for the
Finalists.
yeah.
Also, Aurélie, would it be correct to say that you have a very big fan base in the States and a few galleries that carry your work?
Actually, yeah, I have. I mean, if I look at my Instagram following, I have quite a big fan base, I would
In
say.
the States, yes.
I recently had a show in Houston,
Right.
Texas,
Okay.
but that was just me. It was with two other craft artists. It was called Drawn to the Work at the Houston Center for Contemporary Craft. And it was about craft artists that are using illustration as means to making artwork.
Okay.
And I've had many shows in the States, and my work is in some collections there too. So
Yes, absolutely. Because every time I go to States, all the galleries that I go to, they all either have your work or no. Like when I say I'm from Canada, they're all like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Yes, she's superstar." I have another question for you. Would you say your work is like a diary? I would say yes, but
yeah.
that's your question. And says hello from Andrew Oy, by the way. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm sorry if I butchered your last name.
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying about the work I'm making right now, and I think it's always been true, like I'm a very emotional person, and that's it's it's a roller coaster, and
You have to be as an artist, I think. As a
uh,
successful artist, you have to be a bit emotional, okay?
it's I can only respond to that, and my work, I think, in that sense, is very spontaneous. It's about my personal experiences and how I interpret them, and how I like to combine all these different experiences to create a whole new image that somebody could identify with, or I
Yes.
tell you a whole story about it that won't necessarily make sense, but that will strike on some important things in life.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
I mean, I think love is a big part. It seems really cheesy, but I find that it's so important to surround yourself with people you love, with the you love, and to give it.
Because it's also, oh, hi, Edie. Oh, Edie's also here. It was her birthday the other day. Happy birthday, Edie. Sorry to cut you off. But I wanted to say that I've seen many of your sketchbooks, and one thing that I've noticed, the consistent theme through all of them, was love in very different ways. Because I'm also a bit emotional, so I like to get in touch with that side of myself. But your work is very much about love between, I don't know, you and your mom, or your partner, friends, your friends amongst each other,
I think
friends loving animal. Like, I'm sorry, I have to tell people this story because we met in New Orleans,
yes.
and we kept walking by the swamps looking for crocodiles. We didn't find any crocodiles,
No,
but hey, Aurélie made me a crocodile that I can wear. So that's what I mean. Like, it was just it again. It comes from love and care and
yeah.
relationships and all that. So I very much appreciate that, and I think a lot of people that like your work also appreciate that diary and story element that your work has. Do you
That is,
have any of your sketchbooks? Go on, sorry.
I mean, like these days I have a lot of time to be by myself and to be in the studio and to reflect, and I think something that I love very much about being, a jeweler, or like, I think it could be any craft discipline. I think it's also the relationship and the love that you have with the material. I think if we were not so passionate about the very things we're working with, I don't think we would get such results.
Exactly.
And every time I come in the studio, I'm like so excited to use my tools, so excited to be in this space. And I have tools that were given by members, by teachers, by friends. And every time I use those tools, I'm like, I feel I'm with my friends, you know? And so it's like this whole love.
You know, Edie just said connections, and I guess that's a very good word to also use in that it's a lot of connections. Those are sketchbooks. We don't have a lot of time because Instagram is going to cut us off after an hour.
Okay.
And I did not notice that we've been talking for 45 minutes because I just love talking to you so much. But let's see whatever you want to show us. We'll be more than happy to see anything you want to show us. And I'm going to turn off the comments again. Sorry, because you're covered by the comments. But if anybody has any questions, put it in that question thingy right to the right of the comments, and I'll read it to Aurélie.
So I have this. This is actually the first sketchbook that I made by myself.
Oh, wow.
I learned to do this at school at NASCAD.
Okay.
And
so you did all the binding and stuff yourself? Oh, wow.
All the everything.
Excuse me. Okay.
I don't do this anymore. It takes a lot of stress on like having.
Yeah, of course.
Beautiful.
I get it.
But you will recognize, I was thinking I would show you this one in this sketchbook.
Oh, yes. Yes, yeah. I do.
So the format kind of influenced to the
yeah
composition. So there's that. This sketchbook I like because I actually accidentally burnt it in a kiln.
Oh.
I was transporting.
In the kiln or on the kiln?
Inside.
Okay. We're not going to talk how that happened.
So maybe you put your sketchbook in the kiln and you fire it for a couple minutes and it's
because it's the perfect place for your sketchbook to be at. Yeah.
No, it's just that I used to give classes at Bell Street in Chicago, and there was a kiln that I needed to upstairs, and I wanted to do too many things.
Oh, so you just
forgot for the 30 I went up the stairs. I forgot this was in there, and it caught fire. And yeah, so my jewelry, my sketchbooks, they're not, this. It's this was, but it's drawn on two pages.
Okay.
I kind of sometimes work with the bleeding from one page to another. That also became a piece. So they're not always so pretty. Sometimes they're, these two I made as jewelry.
I think they're all pretty, but yeah, I can understand why, yeah.
But, it's not always so wonderful, but there are sometimes, I don't have my most recent sketchbooks because they were also exhibited in that show in Houston.
Oh, okay, so they're still there. You don't have them, okay.
This is the latest one that I did during the confinement.
Okay.
Confinement, can I say that?
Yeah, you can say that for sure.
So sometimes I draw about personal experiences. I'm, making kind of comics. So that's
I see a car. You're doing cars.
And there are, some moments.
Oh, yeah.
On the balcony. Trying to draw rock, things like that.
They're just so incredibly amazing. I love them. Oh.
Because, we stayed at home, I had a lot more time to actually, draw everything and color in everything. And it was really fun, I think that time at home really gave me time to actually keep on drawing and exploring that. And that's when I was sad and I put like little glitter inside.
Oh, that's amazing. So also while you're showing this, I have another question for you. Do you always go by the same colors that you have in your sketchbook? Do you transfer the same into enamel, or sometimes there's changes in the color scheme that you do?
Sometimes there are changes, but I have markers, so I buy my markers according to the
enamel colors. Okay.
So I'm not gonna fool myself with trying to get like nice peachy colors.
That's what I was trying to get at. Okay. Okay.
So I think in that way, I'm restraining my color palette, but I know that I can take the drawing from my sketchbook and go from that. So yeah.
Because I was always wondering how does that work? Because I know color is such an important effect and part in your work that I was wondering if you always kind of plan with the same enamel colors in your mind while you're drawing, or you just do it and then you go.
I'm trying to sometimes, you know, I still take the liberty, the freedom to do anything. To color with whatever colors, but then when it comes to enamel, I have to, you know, this is where color theory comes in really handy, you know, like when you place two colors next to one another and how they influence.
Yes.
And how you can make a blue seem a bit more purple, you know, or more green according to what's next to it. So I also play with
yes
that.
Yeah. Okay. And then one of my last questions is that, because I know that you taught a lot too during your career. Just for people that are interested, do you have any plans to teach in the future after all of this is done again?
I mean, I was teaching at the jewelry school when the lockdown started.
Right. Okay.
And I was actually gonna give a class on how to make a small plate with the techniques I learned in China. So this was canceled. But yeah, as soon as, you know, this whole situation is over with, I mean, I love teaching. Enameling is, I mean, it's so much fun. I learned so many things from my students, and I think that's something I don't want to give up, you know, because they don't know enamel the way I do, and sometimes they will do something that I would have never tried myself, and it gives really good results. And I also really like to encourage people to try and experiment and to, this is something I say at the beginning of every class, is just be ready and be open to be surprised and to anything, because there's no, you can do whatever you want with enamel. You want to burn it to the ground and make something really crusty. That's, you know, you want to make a super nice white speckle-free surface. That's great too, you know. There's like so many things in between. So just try, you know. I'm giving you the basics, and then just, you know, be crazy. I think that's...
You, in my opinion, you make such an excellent, again, I'm your friend, so every time I say this stuff, I'm like, people must think that we just, you know. Anyway, but I think you make such an excellent teacher because you're so passionate, and you're patient. At least you've been patient with me.
Sometimes I'm like,
I know.
And you experience, you know, you try to help some, you know, and some people are stubborn and they're like, I want to try this no matter what you say. And you know what?
But
I let them play. And I think also one of the best way to learn is by making mistakes.
Yes.
Fail at something, and then, you know, some students come back and they're like, oh my God, you were right. But now I understand why I can't do this. So,
you know, the students, as I was students in 3 different universities, and the more I learned and the more I went to school, the more I was open to getting ideas. Because sometimes when you first try something, I feel like you're intimidated, so you don't want to really, but that's what I mean. It makes a difference for a student that's very interested to see such a passionate teacher like you, that's always there, that, you know, and we all have our moments, but even then you're still there and you're still really passionate and you're willing to help people. It's something very beautiful and rare at the same time. So I hope that you do that in the future a lot more.
I want to teach. I think it's, you know, something that I really enjoy, and it's learning from the people that are learning, you know.
That is exactly, and you also learn a lot. As I've taught few classes at Harbourfront, nothing like your experience, but I've always taught so much when I'm teaching people. But
it pushes you to also go farther than what you know, because you have someone that's going to ask you that question, and you're like, I don't know that. I don't know you right now. So every time I have a new class coming up, I'm always like preparing 1 week ahead to just make new samples and make sure I know what I'm going to talk about. And and then to try and make new samples to show new solutions and new ways. And you know, when someone gives me a question I don't know how to answer, I go to the studio and I try to find that answer.
To try to find it, as opposed to saying something that doesn't make sense. That's great. We're almost hitting time. I really don't want to say goodbye. Like this has been one of all the interviews have been amazing, but your passion really shines through. And maybe we'll do another interview with you in a few months because I know everybody loves you and you have such a good base. I don't know if you noticed the comments, but you have so many.
I can't see anything right
Oh,
now.
you can't?
Frozen.
Oh, everybody is saying hi. I'll try to here. I'll first of all, I'm going to take a picture of us because I want this for. I do this with everybody without telling them, but oh, sorry. And then I'll also let you know about all the. And then at the end, I would like to thank everybody who joined us, and mostly Aurélie
Thank you so
for. No, honestly, thank you so much. This was very.
It might.
It was me. It was me.
We have a storm right now that just started, so
We are also. I think it's also. We're also starting to have a storm, but Instagram is going to cut us off in 2 minutes anyway.
well, it was really. Thank you so much.
Hold on, I'm going to read the last few comments. Such a lovely time. Thank you. Noel has sent you heart. Everybody else has sent you thumbs up. PAG Hoya says salut Aurélie.
Oh.
Ink du Nord says thank you so much. Here and here says thank you. Sylvie says this was so delightful. Thank you both. Gayan sends you love. See, you have so many people that love you. Thank you, everybody. We really appreciate you joining us. This will be on YouTube in a few days. Also, a huge shout out to Alex Kinsley and Emma Pertinemi for editing the videos and putting them on YouTube. If you want to review this, if you want to send it to your friends, it will be on YouTube. So you know to Aurélie, if you wanted to share it with anybody. Wow, so many people. They're saying thank you, love you, cheers from Colombia. Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you, everybody. This was truly a delight. Thank you again, Aurélie. I'll talk to you very soon. And best of luck with your exhibition in September. I'll be there for it.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone, for joining.
Thank you, everybody. Bye. Bye-bye.